Welcome to The Explainer. Look, today we're tearing down this huge misconception that occupational health and safety is just, well, a dry box-ticking compliance topic. Because it's absolutely not. This is actually a highly compelling and frankly often shocking story about human lives, global inequalities, and the hidden financial forces that literally dictate business survival. Whether you're an executive, a manager, or just someone who goes to work every day, the mechanisms keeping you safe or failing to do so are deeply intertwined with global economics and our collective moral compass.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll be hitting 5 key areas: the evolution of workplace safety, the moral imperative, the financial toll, the accident iceberg, and finally, setting global standards.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the evolution of workplace safety.
You know, our modern safety expectations are a far cry from the brutal realities of the Industrial Revolution. I mean, prior to the 1830s and 40s, it was totally standard practice for children under the age of 10 to be employed in really dangerous factories and mines. And by the time we reached the late 1870s, the human cost of this rapid industrialization was just devastating. Just to give you an idea, in 1875 alone, 767 railway workers and over 1,000 coal miners were killed in workplace accidents. It's hard to even wrap our heads around those numbers today, right? But as the developed world transitioned out of heavy engineering and into the 21st century knowledge age, expectations totally shifted. Today, workers demand better standards of living and a healthier work-life balance. Safety isn't just about dodging physical hazards anymore. It's a massive multidisciplinary affair involving specialist professionals managing highly complex environments.
Moving right along to Section 2, the moral imperative.
So, while the developed world generally enjoys these higher standards, we're facing a really stark reality when it comes to globalization. As businesses expand across the globe to cut operational costs, we have to confront a pretty grim warning from the World Health Organization. Basically, industries, along with their accompanying occupational hazards, are being relocated to developing countries. And considering these nations are home to 75% of the global workforce, we're effectively exporting our hazards to areas with much lower societal and regulatory expectations.
Which brings us to the staggering figure, 2.78 million. That is the estimated number of annual work-related fatalities worldwide. Literally 2.78 million lives lost every single year. Let that heavy reality sink in for a second. To break that down a bit, about 2.4 million of those fatalities are actually attributed to work-related illnesses, while over 380,000 are caused by occupational accidents. To put it another way, every 15 seconds, a worker dies from a work-related accident or disease.
And these global disparities in safety lead to absolute tragedies. Think about the Rana Plaza building collapse. That was an event that killed 1,135 people, mostly garment workers who were supplying global brands. Or consider that in some open-cast mines, the life expectancy of workers is a mere 45 years because of the massive health and safety risks. Add to that the 152 million child victims of global child labor. These aren't just numbers on a page. They're the direct result of a global imbalance, where roughly half the world's population lives on the equivalent of about $2 a day. Having a job should absolutely not be a death sentence, which is exactly why the moral driver for occupational health and safety is stronger now than ever before.
That leads us into Section 3, the financial toll.
So the International Labor Organization estimates that the global economic cost of occupational accidents and diseases drains approximately 4% of the global gross domestic product. Yes, you heard that right. 4% of global GDP. That is a massive financial bleed caused by compensation, lost working time, production interruptions, and medical expenses. And the crazy part? The ILO acknowledges this is actually likely an underestimate simply because there's massive underreporting of accidents worldwide.
And when things go catastrophically wrong, well, the numbers are just astronomical. The 2005 Buncefield oil refinery fire became the most expensive accident in UK history. We're talking a total cost of over £1 billion, and that includes £9.5 million just in fines alone. Major disasters like Buncefield or the BP Texas City explosion, they don't just dominate headlines, they completely decimate corporate finances through massive civil claims and a cost of site reinstatements.
But if we break down these global costs a bit further, it reveals something kind of surprising. While massive fires always make the news, everyday issues actually account for the vast majority of the financial burden. Notice how accidents only make up 14% of the global cost of accidents and ill health. Meanwhile, musculoskeletal disorders, they consume a massive 40%. Heart disease takes up 16% and respiratory conditions 9%. It's a huge reminder that managing chronic health conditions is just as critical to the bottom line as preventing dramatic acute accidents.
Okay, let's plunge beneath the surface for Section 4, the accident iceberg.
This brings us to a classic concept, the iceberg metaphor. Most businesses only ever look at the tip of the iceberg, right? The insured costs. Sure, your employer's liability insurance might cover serious injuries and major damage, but beneath the waterline lies this massive, hidden block of uninsured costs. We're talking lost time, sick pay, production delays, loss of lucrative contracts, legal fees, site clearance, and the time spent investigating the incident. Insurance policies just don't cover everything, and these hidden opportunity costs come straight out of the bottom line, usually costing several times more than the insurance premium itself. To really prove this point, there's a landmark study by the health and safety executive that tracked these total opportunity costs across 5 organizations. And these were companies with average or better than average safety records. The hidden drain is just staggering. Take a look at the transport company. Their annualized loss from everyday incidents represented 37% of their total profits. 37%? For the construction company, it ate up 8.5% of their tender price, and the oil platform lost over 14% of its potential output. So poor safety performance is essentially a massive hidden tax on profitability.
Finally, let's look at Section 5, setting global standards.
So, to combat these immense moral and financial challenges, global organizations are stepping up to the plate. The International Organization for Standardization, or ISO, creates voluntary standards, like ISO 45001. This gives businesses a certificated gold standard to aim for, ensuring multinational organizations can implement best practices globally. Then, on the regulatory and policy side, you have the International Labor Organization, the ILO. They promote a really unique tripartitism. Basically, they bring together governments, employers, and workers to set global labor standards. Through their specific bureaus, ACTRAO for workers and ACTOMP for employers, they foster the social dialogue that's absolutely necessary to protect workers' rights while still supporting the businesses that create employment in the first place.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one absolutely critical question to ponder. Can your business truly afford the cost of an accident? As we've seen today, the burden isn't just about regulatory fines or insurance premiums. It's about a massive drain on global GDP, hidden uninsured costs that can literally wipe out 37% of your profits, and above all, our profound moral responsibility to protect human life. Managing health and safety isn't some annoying operational burden. It is the ultimate measure of a resilient, ethical, and financially sound organization. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. See you next time.